Hi, I'm Mike from Scoutadelic, and today me and my co-host, my 66th co-host, is going to teach you how to do something amazing, which is a natural bug hotel. So using nature and being creative on the woodland floor and things like that. So here is what we did in episode 66.
So following on from our theme about the environment and geography etc. this week, we're going to be looking at how we can help our invertebrate friends.
Ooh, okay.
So they are insects in the world. It's really important to have these and to help them today we're going to be making a few different kinds of bug hotels.
Nice,
Insects
okay.
though, just want to talk about them because they're
All
fantastic.
Right. Yeah,
we
yeah.
have around, we estimate that we've discovered so far 900,000 different kind of insect species in the world.
Okay.
We reckon there's anywhere between 2 to 30 million more out there that we haven't found. So that makes them the largest group of animal life forms, making up about 80% of all life. So it's really important, and with humans coming, we still have lovely places like this woodland here. With us going and building everywhere, we are making less and less space for our insects. So anything we can do to help them, they're going to really appreciate. So we're going to do that through building some bug hotels.
Nice. Okay. So what? So you said a couple of bug hotels. So what are we going to need for our first one?
So for our first one, we are going to be just using natural materials from outside the woods. You can come to a place like a woodland like we're in today. You can probably get stuff if you've got a garden, a recreation ground, anything outdoorsy with a few plants around and some debris on the floor will be really useful. You don't need any other equipment for this first one.
So what do we need to start with? What things do we need to gather?
So we're just going to have a wander around here now. We're going to have a look at just bits and bobs on the floor. We're going to look for some large pieces of wood or something like that to start with to make our frame, and then just any bits of vegetation, anything that's going to biodegrade, anything natural that we can just stuff in there.
Okay.
That's going to make a nice home for our bugs. Obviously the smaller we make it and the more compact, the smaller the bugs we're going to get, like wood lice and flies and all that kind of stuff. Right. Anything bigger, we might get some bees, we might get some ladybirds, something like that. So
nice.
Obviously
okay.
The bigger you make this, the bigger the bugs you're going to get, the smaller the stuff, the smaller the bugs you're going to get. But whatever's around, we're just going to go and have a look and see what we can find here.
Cool. All right, let's go. Right, okay, so we've gathered different variations of sticks. So we've obviously big, thick sticks, medium sticks, and tiny little sticks. Okay, so this is a natural one. So what do we need to do this? How do we make one?
So there's no real set structure. We're going to teach you just sort of a way to do it by building up in layers.
Right.
But essentially, just making even just a pile of sticks is something that insects can live in.
Right.
But we're going to do a slightly more structured one. We're going to start with our big sticks, and we're going to make a square out of them.
Okay, so
so
square. Right, okay. Bit like that?
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Right.
And you can make it as big or as small as you want. I'm just going to bring ours in a little bit just because we're not going to make a full-size one today.
Right, okay.
But essentially we're going to start with a square, and then you can just build up layers upon layers by doing that. So we're going to start with maybe some, you can, pop another load on there. And there you can see we've got our sort of first layer of our hotel.
Right.
In between those two layers we can then just start putting some sticks there. So we're going to make like, if you imagine it like this is a hotel floor, so this is our first floor of there. So we want to make the first one fairly easy for bugs to get to from the bottom.
Right.
So we're going to leave a few small gaps in there.
Right, okay.
But we're just going to thread these sticks through until we've sort of made a full floor.
Okay. So it's always going to be this one way rather than
that way, and then as we go up we can do it that way. So we're making a grid as we go
right,
up.
oh right, okay.
So we've probably got enough there just to hold a structure, so yeah, we can do exactly that now.
Right.
Just start popping some along the top. And it doesn't have to be necessarily sticks. You've got, if you're doing this in a garden, you can use plant stems, for example, as well. If you're doing some of your gardening.
Right, okay.
For the bottom, for the top, you can also use, if you've got old roof tiles or smashed bits of plant pots or something, that works quite well. It's just something to give them a bit of a safe haven, really.
Nice, okay.
And you get the general idea of what we're trying to do here. We then put, if we were carrying on, we then put our next sort of layer on there with our big sticks, and we do the same thing. So you can build
right,
across.
okay, and then you do that.
Exactly,
Right, okay.
and eventually you're going to build it up to a height that you've got multiple layers of bugs on there. What we've also got is we've got some moss here. That's really good,
nice.
so they can use this to hide in. The smaller insects might decompose this and eat it as well. So all we can do with this is we can either just layer it on top, or we can stuff it in there as well, in between our layers.
Right. Is it so are you looking at wet or dry sticks, or you know what are you aiming for when you're building this?
So again, it all depends on the kind of insects we want. Because we're in a forest floor here, and there's lots of ground insects that we're trying to attract.
Yeah.
Damp stuff will do really well for those smaller insects. They like darker, damper places. If you're trying to attract some of our larger insect friends, like the bees, the ladybirds,
yeah.
they won't survive if they're sopping wet with loads of sort of wet vegetation. So we're looking for drier kind of stuff with them.
Right, okay.
That might not be something that's here in the forest floor. That might be if you're aiming for your garden, you might have some of those larger insects that like drier places, but for the forest floor we're looking at wetter stuff here.
Right, okay, cool.
So we'll just layer this on top, we'll do a bit of stuffing as well. The main thing about these is they don't need to be neat, they don't need to look really uniform.
Right.
The messier they are, the more little nooks and crannies you give insects to get into, the more we can attract to it.
Brilliant.
And this moss, if we're also popping it over the top as well, might act as a little bit of a roof as well. So if it rains, we're not going to wash all our insects away.
Right.
We've got something there. We could also build that with wood. We could just make a full layer over the top like that, just to case it in and stop all that rain getting in. And we do build that up a few times. But that, in its basics, you could build it up as high as you want, is a bug hotel made of natural resources.
Okay.
Main thing to remember with this though is where you're putting it. Obviously we've just come to this bit of the forest here.
Yeah.
You don't want to be putting it in the middle of a footpath, you don't want to be putting it where humans are going to think what
yeah,
on
that's
earth is this?
it, yeah.
Kicking it over, or dogs might be sniffing at it and picking up sticks from it. So you want to put it in a nice quiet place where you know nothing's going to get to it. But in its basic form, that is a bug hotel.
If you've liked this video, then don't forget to obviously give it a like and share it around, because there are tons of people who would love to do this, and this month is all about the environment. So come on, get out there and consider subscribing. Just scroll down and click the red button if you haven't already. It means really much, a lot to me. So thank you again, and I'll see you again soon for another one of these. Bye.